going to do the goulet we call bird lips. Let's get started. What we do first is cut the nostril holes. Now, in the bird lips, there are some holes sculpted in, and you'll just from the back go at it and just snip those out. You don't need to snip it exactly, because we'll use makeup to make it look like it's bigger than it is. But just so you have some breathability, we get that all snipped out. Okay, now we'll take a eyebrow pencil, place this on base. It's going to line up with the lip, and up in the eyes. Once we have that, we'll go ahead and mark around it so that we know where to put the latex. Now, while we're at it, we'll go ahead and do the bottom beak also. It just places up on the bottom lip. We can pull them off. We know where to put our latex now. Now with the latex, we'll go inside the lines. And up on the lip. I'll hold this. Now you want to go right at the base of the hairline, and you want to try to keep it out of the hair. And I also want to go at the base of the eyebrow, right up underneath the eye. And I want to put about 2 coats on so that it will adhere better. once I have the latex on the face, I want to go ahead and put the latex on the piece itself. I also want to get about 2 coats on the appliance. Now, once we have the entire appliance rimmed in latex, we'll go ahead and wait about 3 minutes for it to dry. Okay, now that we've waited 3 minutes for this to dry, we're ready to go ahead and adhere. Let's turn you this way. Now I want to get the lip started and then work up. Now pinching it in here in the eyes is important. It needs to go down in there. I've lost where I started here with the lip, but I'll come back down there before I push it down and re-adhere that. And I want to get it right up along the eyes. Then I can come down like this. I want to get it up under the lip and then pull it side to side. And that way I've placed it where I need it. Having done that, I'm ready for the lower lip, which is done the same way. I'll take it from side to side, put it up into the sides of his mouth, pull it, push it down up underneath until it's adhered. Okay, now, in order to get these edges a little smoother, I'm going to go ahead and put latex on the side. once I've lined this with latex, I'll go ahead and let it dry about 3 minutes. Now that we've waited 3 minutes for it to dry, we're ready to apply the makeup. We're going to start with yellow, because the beak is entirely yellow. So I have my little color wheel here, little brush, and I'll go ahead and do the beak in yellow. Now I'm not going all the way back to the cut edge of the Goulet appliance. I'm going about a 1/4 inch from it. I'll blend out the rest of it when I do the feathering effect. Underneath, I want to put about the width of the brush, and the brush I'm using is about a 1/4 inch. Up underneath in yellow. The rest will be then done in black. Up underneath about a 1/4 inch. And then the lower beak. About a 1/4 inch over the edge. area that I haven't gotten, back in this area here, I will blend that. That way I'll be covering up this edge of the appliance. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to black and the brush, because what I have to do is fill in this area of the mouth. This is what makes it look like he is with beak. Starting with the lips and then working forward, I want to fill in this area. Up underneath. And here, as I come down, I have to connect the two right along this line. Now you're creating the inside of the mouth here. You're also hiding the edge of the appliance. Now be sure to get all the way up underneath and connect the two black lines together. There we go. Now you see that we have the inside of the mouth area defined. Now we'll continue with the black, and we want to go ahead and fill in a little bit in the nostril hole so that that stands out. And then underneath there's a little shadow. Let's see what we've done there. And I'll do that on this side. And the shadow. Now, a little bit underneath the top of the beak to define the beak area. And then on the top, we'll go ahead and run the black lines in. You don't worry about this too much. This will be smoothed out with the other colors of makeup. Now, this area I'm doing here, right here there's a little bit of a depression in a V. Bring that on out, connect it off onto his face, and then up underneath with just a little black, do under his eye, putting the black right on the seam line, a little bit on the appliance itself and a little bit on his eye. And then carry it on down and give it a little loop. That'll give him a little shadow there. Same thing on the other side. A little bit right along the edge of the appliance. Carry it down along his eye and then loop it on back. bit of a line here, carries on. A little bit of shadowing. You might carry it on underneath to define his eye just a little bit more. Okay, now here I'm about ½ an inch from the top line. I'm going to loop that down and maybe put another one. Little crow's feet. No pun intended. This way, a couple lines coming off. And a line here. And there. Now that pretty much does what I want to do in black. Maybe a little under the beak. He does have some shadowing going on. You gotta be real careful under here because yellow is a very light color, of course, and the black you don't want to fill in too black. Alright, now the rest of this, I'm going to just give it some different colors up on the top. I'm going to do a little orange. I'm going to make this a colorful bird. I'm going to connect in between these black lines, the high points, coming down to the beak. I'm going to make him an orange type of bird. But I also want to carry this orange off into his hairline back here. Now I can use his hair when I'm done, and I could take a red hairspray and spray his hair, or I can use a wig. In this case I'm going to use a wig, and I'll show you that effect when we're done. But I'll fill in all these spots with the orange, and as I go across I'm blending that black so it becomes the shadow. Down in by the eye, you're going to pick up some of the black, which is fine, because you can then shadow the eye in using this brown, or using this orange, I mean. Now this same technique can be used for many colors. You don't have to use orange, you can use blue, or you could use red, or you can make it more subdued than that and just use like a brown. Now what I'm going to do to his face is a little bit different, so I'll only go that far with the orange. I'm mixing down in to the black so that I get a darker color down in the crevice. Blend the black that's on the face, diminish it just a little bit, and use it for shading. upper portion. Just blend it from the orange and let it blend up red, making this more of a colorful bird. After all, it's more of a whimsical character. And I can blend the red on down just a little bit so that it goes up gradually. It'll be a very subtle look. Work it down into the orange just a little bit so it goes up gradual. And maybe I'll run some streaks of red across it just to highlight a little bit. Okay, now I'm really ready for the final makeup, which will go down on his skin areas. And what I'm going to do is use a combination of red. Now, I'm going to use a combination of blue, black, and white. Now, I'm going to get a feathering look. Now, I'm going to start with the blue. What I do is just starting at the orange area and work my way down. I'm going to just draw the brush in little feathers. And I'm just going to kind of tap randomly. And work my way across. And randomly up to the beak. Now I should get a little tail on those. Now at this point, the faster the better, because you'll get a little wisp of color going across. Work it down with his face. Now I'm going to do this 3 times. Once with the blue, once with black, that'll give me a shadowing effect, and once with the white, which will give me a highlight effect. But the blue is the technique that, or the color that I'm going to use as my base. Be a dab and then a pull down, and you'll get a feather look. Let's turn you around. Randomly, just putting on the little strokes, the feathering. black, and again, in between now, just little spots of black. Randomly. These are trying to aim for some of the skin portions where you still see skin. But you'll get it across some of the blue, which is fine. You want to put a little bit right up at the edge. This is giving a shadowing effect as it's applied. Work this on around. And the final color will be white, which will give us a highlight. Same technique, white. You can see how we start picking up that color. I can use this technique all the way up and go all the way up the face. And in this case, I'm gonna put a mask on it, so it's not real important that I have it all the way up. Go to this side. feathered look. Now, the only thing we'll add to that is a wig and a mask, and we'll show you what the final look